Hello everyone. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'll be discussing um, GitHub's open source project management tools. And I'm hoping that we could adopt most of them or even one or two to manage our tasks. If not for the whole project, but at least for task 2. So a little bit about me. I'm Rem Lampa. I'm a senior JavaScript developer for Prospel. It's an Australian startup, and I'm Filipino. I'm based in Manila, and I'm working remotely for for Prospel. So yeah, I'm also just recently appointed as one of the co-task leaders for task 2. But that doesn't mean that I'm an expert. I'm a complete beginner in data science and AI. But I really want to learn a lot from from OMDENA through this project. So yeah, with that said, let me proceed with the short talk. I'm hoping this is short. Yeah, so I want to discuss what's the single greatest reason for the success of any open source project. I'm not an expert in open source, but I've made contributions in some projects, and I also manage a relatively common I manage a Chrome extension that's being used by thousands of users right now, and it's open source. So I have a bit of experience in this field. So I asked Bash last week if this project will be open source. So he said that, yeah, it's going to be open source. So this is going to be very relevant to what we're doing. So yeah, what's the single greatest reason for the success of any open source project? What I have observed is it's the community. The largest and most successful open source projects out there, like React, Vue, Laravel, even in Python land, Django, they have a huge community that supports that open source project. So here's another question. What's the most valuable resource in open source? It's the time spent by, or time devoted by each contributor into that open source project. Because remember, most of these contributors are from the community, and they are not being paid a cent to make contributions to that open source project. So in that sense, we need to value the time spent by each contributor, by each individual contributor into that project, and make sure to respect their time and to value their time, and make sure that the time spent by each contributor is not wasted. Another question, what's the most important value that I think should be present in all open source projects? And I don't know if this is obvious. It should be collaboration. If contributors aren't collaborating, that open source project is, it's going to die. So having said these, having answered these questions, where does our current project sit in terms of collaboration, in terms of valuing the time of individual contributors and volunteers, and in terms of building a strong community? Oh, hang on. Okay. So let me ask another batch of questions with in regards to our current project. So in our current project, does everyone know how and where to contribute? Is every contributor aware of what each and every team member is currently working on? How sure are our contributors, or are each contributor, that what they are currently working, that what they are currently working on is providing actual value, and that, as I go back to the previous slides, and that the time they spend is actually providing actual value and not being wasted, or it's not going to be wasted. How engaged are the excuse me, how engaged are the contributors currently? Is there a sense of ownership and accountability in each task that we've already pointed, or already laid out? Is knowledge being shared effectively among collaborators? Okay, so personally, my answer for these questions is no, except for this one. How engaged are the contributors? I can see from the Slack threads of Slack activity that we aren't engaging the majority of our members. I mean, there are a few who are very active in Slack, but how many are we in the group, in the project? Around almost 100, and maybe you can count the people who are actually interacting in the conversations in Slack and in the meetings. I think less than 20, right? And yeah, for the previous questions, just the answer is no. We're not sharing effectively. The knowledge not being shared effectively among collaborators. And you know, I don't know if the contributors are really confident that what they're actually doing is, would be picked up along the way. So yeah, I'll just breeze through this. So what I'm telling is, we need a way to manage all of this so that we could quickly reach a stage that we could allow all members, or most of the members currently, to contribute to the project easier and more effectively, so that we don't waste anyone's time. Especially in this project, that the time frame is very short. As of the time of this video, we only have 3 more weeks, and I'm not sure about the other people, but I think we're not actually having significant progress yet. especially in the other tasks that there's almost zero activity. At least in task 2, there's some activity, but yeah, it's being pushed by just a few people, and that needs to change. We need to engage more people to take on more tasks. So what does GitHub offer in terms of task management that could help something like the OMDENA Philippine project? So yeah, most of the things here are being used by a majority of open source projects already. And what we need to do is just emulate what they're doing. So yeah, it's a Git repository. This is what GitHub is really known for. That it's a repository for your code. But beyond that, we have issues, projects, wikis, and actions. If you're a beginner in GitHub, I'll try to explain to you what these are. So issues is just it can take whatever form you want it to be, essentially, but it's often used as a way to track tasks. It can also be a way for people to ask questions, or a way for people to assign tasks to other people, to other contributors. Then projects is a tool that uses these issues to manage the progress of each task. Wiki, everyone's familiar with Wikipedia, but a wiki is a repository of knowledge, actually. So we can use this to store everything that we learn along while we do our tasks. For example, there's already people who have created masks for the nighttime lights. So we could put all those results here in wikis if we agree on it. Then there's actions. GitHub Actions is more useful for the deployment team, but I'll also discuss this here. It's a way of automating workflows. So these are all the tools that are available to us. And the good thing about this, if we adopt this, is that everything is centralized in GitHub. So you don't have to go use another service or another software to, say, manage tasks, or another software to put your to use as your knowledge base. It's all housed in GitHub. I'm proposing that we use these tools initially, because if this project succeeds and it grows into a open source project that will be adopted by many people, the natural course of or the next stage would be to adopt other tools that are more feature packed than what GitHub offers. But most especially issues, most likely this will be the universal task manager for this project. for a very long time, because that's the usual practice anyway for open source projects. Okay, so that's the last slide. So I'm going to discuss here some examples of how these tools have been used in real projects. I'm going to start with a personal project that I mentioned earlier. The Chrome extension that I made. And another example would be the official website of React.js Philippines. And lastly, I would discuss the open source project, or the largest or the most starred open source project in GitHub right now, and how they're using or leveraging these tools. So yeah, so here is my open source Chrome extension. It's called Facebook Video Speed Control. Ironically, it's I don't use this anymore because I seldom use Chrome. If you haven't noticed, I'm using currently Firefox, but I'm still maintaining this because I see that there are a lot of people benefiting from this Chrome extension. As you see here, it's 10,000 users. So it's just a very crude Chrome extension. Very simple. Excuse me. That if you click on the extensions icon, it would open up a pop-up, and it allows you to select the speed you want. You want the current Facebook video to run. I don't know if you've noticed this in YouTube or you use it, but YouTube has a control to speed up or slow down your videos. So my motivation for this was when I learn things, I want videos to be at least at 1.5 speed, because going back again to valuing time. I value my time. I have a lot of things going on. I have a lot of side projects, so every minute counts for me. So yeah, it has been useful for me when I was using Chrome, but when I when I started using Firefox, I just found another extension specifically for Firefox, and I'm using that instead of this. But of course, I can't abandon this because it's benefiting 10,000 users. Problem is, I don't have the motivation anymore to develop features for this. Good thing that I open sourced the project. So here, this is the repository on GitHub of Facebook Video Speed Control. So just recently, here, this is the GitHub issues page for the repository. Then people come here and request for things. For example, this Ryan Gaudion wanted that the extension should have speeds that are faster than ×2, which was the fastest that currently on the current release, ×2 what was the fastest setting that you could set the extension on. And he wanted it to be faster than that. So here, I told him that, hey, yeah, sure, that's great, but I don't have the time to do that. So maybe someone can come in and add that feature or extend the extension. So someone, a complete stranger, came in and, hey, I did this thing. Could you check it? So here, where is it? Let's go to the pull requests. So we created a pull request. I think this is the one. Yeah. So yeah, he created a pull request and he extended the range of the setting of the extension to 0.5 times up to 4 times. But upon checking the code that he did, he had it in increments of, I think, if I remember right, 0.1. So 0.1 in 0.1 increments from 0.5 to 4x. That's a lot of settings. So someone came in again and told him that maybe you could limit the settings to these values. Then then the author said that, no, I think that more is better than less. And then that's where I came in and told him that, yeah, I think Lookid has it right, that it's better to have it or it's better to limit the settings, but keep the least or the slowest and the fastest settings. Then he agreed, and yeah, just earlier this evening, I released this change. I merged it into master, and luckily I have here GitHub Actions, and it automates everything. So what it did was, not this one. So GitHub Actions, I have a setting in GitHub Actions that automates the building of the extension, creating the zip file, bumping the version, and sending it to Google automatically. Actually, it failed because there was something that's wrong in my setting. But I managed to fix it, and I think this was the one that released it. Yeah, this one. So if you could see here, it bumped the version to 0.2.1. Then it says here that the next release version is 0.2.1. And it automatically published the file to I don't see it here, but it automatically published the file to Google. It sent the zip file to Google for Google to review it, and afterwards it will be published as a new version, as 0.2.1. Add to that it created this automatically this release document detailing what happened. Again, bumping the version to 0.2.1. So the date today is June 20. Yeah. So the timestamp is June 20. So here it is, and this is the Chrome Web Store dashboard. So the current published version is 0.2.0, but up for approval is 0.2.1. I think it's already published, so I'll try to refresh this. So yeah, it's already published. They already approved it. So the current version on Chrome Web Store right now is 0.2.1. So it's a success. So that's a simple demonstration that this GitHub issues tool or feature is very powerful in creating collaboration between complete strangers, because that's what we are currently, right? 100 people in the project, and we are complete strangers. There's another request here, but I couldn't get to this yet. But yeah, I hope you get appreciating the power of what I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say here. So this is just a small project, so I don't have a project. I don't use GitHub projects for this. Actually, let's do one thing. Let's close this issue. Again, these people are complete strangers. I don't know them. Feature is available now on Chrome Web Store as version 0.2.1. And I'm going to thank the contributor. Comment, and I'm going to close this with my comment. So now the issue is done, and you won't be able to see it here anymore. But if you click on closed, there, you would see the other issues that were closed before. So that's one demonstration. A larger project is the official website of React.js Philippines. Disclosure, I'm a part of React.js Philippines, but I was not a part of this project. So I should go down here. Yeah, there's the core team, and the project was managed by Jerome Estilier. He is actually a junior developer in my current company, Prospel, and we empowered him through open source to manage this project. And you could see the results. It's very eye candy. And yeah, that's there's me. So let's go to the GitHub repo. So the GitHub repo page they also used the issues feature of GitHub, and we have here a lot of closed issues. As you could see, there were a lot of contributors here, and these were the pull requests. Pull requests, by the way, are uh, uh, or tool is the tool for contributors to request that their change be merged into the main branches of the project. So this is more used by people who code or change the code. I don't think they. Oh yeah, do they use? Yeah, I think they use GitHub Actions too to automate their workflows. Then here's an example of the usage of projects. So they have 2 projects here, one for administrative tasks and one for coding tasks. So here, yeah, for coding tasks, they kept the Kanban simple, just three lanes: to do, in progress, and done. That's it. So that's a way to track the status of of an issue or a task. And as you can see, not all tasks need to be coding related. Then, of course, here are the coding tasks, which there's no pending; they're all done. But it's more complicated because it has a review lane or a couple of review lanes. Then yeah, a done lane. They don't use a wiki, but this is a very good feature again of GitHub, is the insights. You could see here the contributors, the main contributors. The largest contributor is, yeah, Jerome Estilier, and the head of React.js Philippines, Fran Reza Icon, and a lot of other contributors. So that's a medium size project. I have a question. What do you think is the repository that has the most GitHub stars, or the most stars in GitHub? What a star is like a like or a follow. If you click here, you would start the project and it will show up in your profile, saying that you're starring this. So what do you think is the largest or the most starred repository in GitHub? It's here. It's FreeCodeCamp. So it beats projects like Vue and React and even TensorFlow. So if you haven't heard if you haven't heard of FreeCodeCamp, excuse me, FreeCodeCamp is a non-profit organization that helps people learn how to code completely for free. And it has helped a lot of people get jobs at a lot of tech companies, even Google, Microsoft, FAANG companies. And another disclosure, I am an alumni of FreeCodeCamp, even though I didn't finish the whole curriculum. So yeah, it's being managed by a very small team. There's a very small core team led by Quincy Larson. He's not actually a coder. He was formerly a teacher. And during his stint as a teacher, he saw that there's a lack of of resources that teach people how to code. So that led him to build Free Code Camp. So it has grown significantly through the years as more graduates, as it generated more people who got or who landed jobs in the tech space. These people, like myself, give back to the platform or to the organization. So because of that, it has grown massively and has extended the certifications or the courses that it's currently offering. It also has free courses on Python, information security, and machine learning. And I think I'm not really sure about it, but I think this Free Code Camp is also the largest knowledge base out there in regards to tech. Anything that's related to tech, I think Free Code Camp is the biggest resource because it goes back to that people who or alumni of Free Code Camp give back to Free Code Camp in one way or another, and most of them provide or write articles for Free Code Camp, like this, and like here. They generate video content, or they volunteer their time to create video content for Free Code Camp. So I think there's thousands of videos here. So let's take a look at the repository that powers their platform. So if you could look at their issues page, they have a lot of issues, but they are already resolved 15,000 issues with regards to their platform. So these issues range from coding changes to suggestions to questions and bug reports, and they carefully tag each issue properly so that they could help other contributors have context on what these tasks are for or where they belong to. So for example, like this is a bug report, and they tagged it as a bug type, and the scope here is the curriculum, and they're saying that this is a good issue for a beginner, for first timers. So the reporter of the bug laid out here what the problem is, and one of the repository managers came in and discussed it more with him. So most likely these people are they don't know each other. They're complete strangers. So Free Code Camp has been around for, I think, since 2014. So it's been 7 years now, and it's still growing, and it's being backed by a lot of people. I want to show here one of their projects, Chapter, which is I think what this is a event management tool, open source event management tool that would rival Meetup and Facebook events. This is a really recent project of theirs, And they use the wiki as a way to consolidate their minutes of the meeting or the meeting notes. So you have, as we see here, it started at October 20, 2019, and they lay out here everything everything worth noting uh, during the course of that meeting. So the project started in 2019, is still ongoing, and it's nearing its second anniversary. I want to note this. They have a contributing markdown document, contributing.md, and you'll see this in a lot of open source projects, where they lay down here how someone without any background, how someone can contribute into this project. So they try to get people up to speed about the project using this document. So they have here contribution guidelines, code of conduct. They also have a chat in Discord, which I think I am a member of. So yeah, they have here the how to run it on your local. And this is very important. They lay this they they discuss here this question: what do we need help what do we need help with right now? So yeah, they place here what you can do. So this is a very large project, and they are seeing huge value in GitHub's tools for the progress of this project. A quick side note, although we saw in the previous tab that they have courses for Python and data analysis and TensorFlow, they want to build a full curriculum for data science, a free curriculum for, as you can see here, mathematics and machine learning and data science. And they're currently raising funds for it. They need the funds for maintaining the servers, because it's going to be really expensive, as most of the data professionals know. So yeah, if you have the capacity to donate, and if you think that what Free Code Camp is doing is very commendable, I invite you to donate whatever amount you could spare to their pledge drive. So yeah, especially for the Filipinos here, I am one of the co-founders and community managers of Free Code Camp Manila. So I would like to invite people here to join us if you want to contribute in helping others learn how to code through Free Code Camp. Oops. Sorry about that. So that's it for the commercials, advertisements. Yeah. So what do I think? How do I think these tools can benefit us? We can emulate the projects that I've illustrated, or the examples that I presented. And I've already created here a few issues. Started migrating some of the issues that have been pointed out by, or some of the tasks that have been pointed out by some of our contributors, and created issues for each one of them. And I'd love for us to use this starting now. We need to populate this with discussions. And yeah, for example here, I created this issue, which the task is to read reference materials. Admittedly, I haven't had the time to go all through these resources yet, but yeah, there someone already posted here some of the summaries. That thank you for Joseph Laurel for posting TLDRs here. So yeah, I enjoin everyone to just, start populating the GitHub issues page. If there's something that you're doing, create an issue for it. Or if there's something that you want to plan to do, create an issue for it. Whatever that is. Like for example here, where is it? Yeah, here. I created an issue for creating a video, for creating this video, and tagged it with the label task 2 energy demand. And I added myself as an assignee because I'm the one doing this currently, and also added it to the MVP project. So you'll see here in our project here. Since I'm not finished with the video yet, I placed it in the in progress page, lane. So please, don't be shy. Don't be intimidated by this tool. It's not as intuitive as other tools, but this is very valuable, especially if we're actually pushing forward to have this project as open source. If we're not going to use GitHub issues, it's not going to fly well with a lot of open source contributors, because this is how people are doing this in the open source community. I don't know anyone who's not doing this when the repository is in GitHub. In GitLab, if the project is in GitLab, they have a similar system, having I don't know if they call it issues too, but very similar. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I think we have a meeting tomorrow. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, and if there's something that's barring you from using this, I'd love to hear why. Maybe we can find a way around the friction. And this is very important because this would open up tasks to a lot of beginners, including myself. I would know where I could scan this list of issues and try to see where I can devote my time. Like here, for example, if someone is already working on it, I could come here and say, hey, do you need help? Or maybe, hey, maybe you could we could have a pair coding session so that I can learn from what you're doing, knowledge sharing. And this also serves as a way for the task leaders to monitor who is doing what. And people can come in and into this task and say, hey, this task doesn't sound like it's very important right now. Maybe we can move it to, or we can move it out of the MVP project. Things like that. I mean, Slack is good. It's for communication, for instant communication, but it's very bad for project management. You know, I don't know if you noticed this, or if you're inconvenienced by it, but there's a lot of Slack threads that there's some Slack threads that discuss a single task, and that's very hard to follow. As opposed to this, that if the discussions are for a particular task, the discussions are contained within the issue itself, a single issue. All the context is preserved in one issue. And another good thing with here is you could mention other issues as well. Like, for example, this is common in open source projects. Hey, this is a duplicate of number 11, for example. So by doing that, you can already close this with that reason. There's a lot we can do with this, and it enables us to collaborate effectively, and I think it would prevent duplication of work, and it allows visibility to the work you're actually doing. I mean, there's in the past few days there's been a lot of contributions already, but we don't have a trail to, if you put that is if you put your work into an issue, people would see that, hey, this man or this guy or this woman is already working on this particular task. He or she initiated it. No one asked her to do this, but it's very interesting, and it's transparent to everyone, as opposed to doing it in silence without anyone knowing, and then coming out posting on Slack, hey, I did this, and no one benefited from the process of you doing it. I mean, the project will benefit from the result, but the process, no one benefited except for yourself. I think I'm hoping that I'm making sense here, but yeah. What more? I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anything. Yeah. Maybe we could discuss this further tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for your time again. Sorry for if this took almost an hour. Wow. Yeah, thank you, and I'll see you guys in our meeting. Bye.